Good morning, students. It is 12th Physics, September 6, lecture number 1. In this topic, we will discuss about Faraday's laws. So first of all, we will discuss about the magnetic flux. We have studied about the electric flux. Now we will discuss about the magnetic flux. What is magnetic flux? It is a number of perpendicular magnetic field lines passing through the area. How many perpendicular magnetic field lines are passing through an area? That will be the magnetic flux through that area. So naturally it is just a number, so it will be a scalar quantity. Electric flux was also a scalar, magnetic flux is also a scalar quantity. Suppose magnetic field is like this. B is representing magnetic field. A is some area which is like this. So draw perpendicular on this area, that will be direction of A. So angle between area vector and magnetic field vector is theta. So component of A along B will be A cos theta. So flux will be B into A cos theta, because A cos theta is perpendicular to, A cos theta is parallel to B, or you can say area vector A cos theta is perpendicular to B. So flux will be equal to B A cos theta or B dot A. So again it is a dot product, and dot product is always a scalar quantity. So it will be a scalar. Now suppose B is 1 Tesla. Area is 1 meter square, so flux will be 1 Weber. Weber is SI unit. Now 1 Weber, it is 1 Tesla into 1 meter square. Now 1 Tesla is 10 raised to power 4 goes. So it will be 10 raised to power 4 goes into 10 raised to power 4 centimeter square. Convert this meter square into centimeter square. So that will be 10 raised to power 4 centimeter square. So it will be 10 raised to power 8 Gauss centimeter square. Gauss and centimeter are CGS units. So 1 Weber will be equal to 10 raised to power 8 Maxwell, where Maxwell is CGS unit of flux. So flux will be 10 raised to power 8 Maxwell. Now we will discuss Faraday's experiments. I am discussing few experiments. These experiments were conducted by Faraday and Henry. Out of these, one experiment. This is a coil, and galvanometer is attached with this coil. Galvanometer is a device to detect the current. Now this bar magnet, North Pole, South Pole, it was brought towards this coil. It was observed that there was deflection in this galvanometer. It means there is a current. No source is connected in this loop, but there is a current. And when this coil was moved away, then direction of current was reversed. And when it was held stationary, then there was no current. So when bar magnet was moved toward the coil, there was deflection in the galvanometer, but when it was moved away, direction of the deflection in the galvanometer was opposite, and when magnet was held stationary, there was no deflection. And when this bar magnet was moved towards this coil or away from the coil swiftly, that is with higher speed, then deflection in the galvanometer was more. One more experiment. This is coil. It is attached to a supply. And this is second coil. It is attached to galvanometer. Supply is not connected with this. It is attached to galvanometer. When this key was inserted, there was momentary deflection in the galvanometer. It means for fraction of second there was current in this circuit. And when this key was removed, again there was momentary deflection. So in both the cases there was momentary deflection in the galvanometer. It means the current was induced for a fraction of a second. Why we are saying induced? Because it is not connected directly with any source. So current is induced in this coil. Now question is, from where we are getting this current, and is it not against the law of conservation of energy? Because current means there is some potential difference, there is some energy. Current is energy. So is it not against the law of conservation of energy? So on the basis of these observations, Faraday gave his laws. Its law is, when change in magnetic flux is associated with the coil, there will be induced EMF. If change in magnetic flux is associated with the coil, then there will be induced EMF. In this case, bar magnet was moving towards or away. In both the cases, there was deflection. When it was moving toward this coil, magnetic field was increasing because distance between this north pole and this coil was decreasing. Distance was decreasing, so magnetic field was increasing. So due to increase in the magnetic field, flux is BA. B was increasing, so flux was increasing. In second case, when it was moving away, this distance was increasing, so magnetic field was decreasing. It means flux was also decreasing. In both the cases, there was change in flux. In one case, it was increasing. In second case, it was decreasing. When it was held stationary, at that time, there was no change in the flux. There was flux, but there was no change. Change in flux is essential. If only flux is associated without change in a coil, then there will be no induced EMF. Change in flux is mandatory. In this case, when this key was inserted, initially current in this coil was 0. Now it will acquire from 0 to its saturation value. So it is equivalent to solenoid, so there will be a magnetic field in it. So magnetic field will acquire its saturation value from 0 to maximum value. It is associated with this. So what will happen? There will be change in flux in this coil as well. And once the magnetic field acquires saturation value, then there will be no change in the flux in the secondary. So this deflection will be momentary. Similarly, when this key was removed, magnetic field will become 0, from maximum to 0. So it will take some time from maximum to 0. So flux will decrease in this case. And as flux decreases, again there will be induced EMF. In first case it was increasing, there was a particular direction. In second case it is decreasing, so that direction will be reversed. In this case as well, when we were moving towards this coil, then flux was increasing, so there was some direction of the current. When it was moved away, flux was decreasing, so direction of current was reversed. So this is Faraday's first law, that when change in magnetic flux is associated with the coil, then there will be induced EMF. Second, induced EMF lasts as long as change in magnetic flux continues. And that was in experiment as well. When it was held stationary, then there was no change in the flux. So there was no induced EMF. So as long as there is change in flux, there will be induced EMF. And as soon as change in magnetic flux stops, induced EMF will also stop. Third law. Magnitude of induced EMF is directly proportional to rate of change of flux with negative sign. Induced EMF is equal to minus change in flux upon change in time, so you can say minus of d psi by dt. When this bar magnet was brought toward this coil with greater speed, deflection was more. It means current was more. It was brought with higher speed, so rate of change of flux was more, so current was more. And when it was moved slowly, then rate of change of magnetic flux was less, so current was less. Now the question is, what is source of this energy? From where we are getting this energy? Is it not against the law of conservation of energy? It can be explained using Lenge's rule. Lenge's rule tells us what will be direction of the current. Direction of the current is decided by Lenge's rule. Lenge's rule can be explained or can be written in many ways, but simplest form is direction of induced current will be such that it will oppose the cause which is producing it. Direction of induced current. Lenge's law gives the direction of induced current. It will be such that it will oppose the cause which is producing it. What is producing that? That will be direction. It will oppose that cause. So that will be direction of the current. Now for that, I am coming to first coil. This is the coil, and here actually I am showing two coils. In both the cases, bar magnet is moving towards the coil, but what is the difference? In first coil, this wire is going from back side. It is not visible on the top. It is going from back side, then coming from back side, then from this point to this point, not visible, then again coming from top, not visible, coming from top, not visible, coming from top, and then it is connected to galvanometer. In this case, it is going from top, then coming from back side, so not visible, from top, so on, then it is coming from back side, and it is connected to this galvanometer. Now we will apply Lenge's rule. This north pole is moving towards this. So what is the cause? North pole is moving. So direction of induced current will be such that it will oppose this cause, that is, it will tend to stop this north pole. And how it is possible? If this end becomes north pole, then north node there will be repulsion. This external agency will have to do some work against this repulsive force in bringing this north pole toward this coil. That work done will be converted into electric energy. So in this way we can justify law of conservation of energy. So this end should be north pole. This end should be north pole. This wire is coming from top. So apply right hand rule like this. So what should be direction of magnetic field? Magnetic field should be in this direction. So current should be in this direction. So that will be direction of the current. But if I take second case, it is north. Again it is coming in this side. So again it should also be north. But this wire is from top. So this wire is from back side. So what should be direction of the current? It should be upward. Then it will become north pole. Remember, in each case you will have to see what should be magnetic field inside the coil, not outside. Inside the coil, that is called core of that coil. So what is the direction of magnetic field in the core of that coil? If it is north pole, then it should be outward. It is north pole. So inside the coil or in the core of the coil, it should be outward. It should be like this. So that will be direction of the current. I am taking third case. It is a loop. It is placed in this external magnetic field. Now we are applying force in outward direction. That is, we are expanding it like this. We are expanding like this. We are expanding this. So what will happen? Its area will increase. So due to that, its flux will increase. Because area is increasing, magnetic field is constant, so flux will increase. So what is the cause? Flux is increasing. So that induced current will tend to decrease this flux. Magnetic field is inward, so due to that induced current, magnetic field should be outward so that it can decrease it. So magnetic field should be outward. What should be direction of the current? Magnetic field outward. Thumb will give direction of the current, so that will be direction of the current. So that will be direction of the induced current. In this case, it is in circular in shape, in external magnetic field. Now we want to deform it. We are applying force like this. we want to deform this. So if we deform it, if force is applied in this direction, if we deform it, in that case, area will decrease. So due to decrease in the area, there will be decrease in the magnetic flux. So induced current will tend to increase that magnetic flux. It means magnetic field is inward, so due to that induced current, magnetic field should be inward. Magnetic field, fingers magnetic field, thumb will give direction of the current. So current will be like this. So that will be direction of the current. I am taking one more case. Suppose it is a current carrying conductor. It is carrying current I, and this current is increasing with time. With the time this current is increasing, it is not constant. So due to this current carrying conductor, magnetic field in that side will be upward. So dot is representing magnetic field. It means it is perpendicular to the plane of the paper and coming out of the plane of the paper. And current is increasing, so this magnetic field will also increase. So there will be change in the flux, so there will be induced current. But what is the cause? This current is increasing. Magnetic flux is increasing. So that induced current will tend to decrease this flux. This magnetic field is outward. So due to induced current, it should be inward, opposite, so that it can decrease. Now my fingers, magnetic field should be inward. So fingers are giving magnetic field, thumb will give direction of the current. So that will be direction of the current. So magnetic field will be like this. Now I am taking two cases. In the first case, this loop is moved inside the magnetic field. It is not outside, inside. So there will be no change in the flux because area is same, no change in the area which is inside the magnetic field, and there is no change in the magnetic field. So there will be no change in the flux, there will be no induced EMF. In second case, some part is outside and it is moved in this direction with velocity v. Magnetic field is B. So area which is in this magnetic field will decrease. So flux in this loop will decrease now. So in this case there will be induced current. Now area, this side is L and this distance from this point to this point, it is X. So area will be Lx. What will be magnetic flux? BLx. B is the magnetic field. We know that induced EMF is equal to minus d psi by dt. So d by dt of flux, d by dt of BLx with a negative sign. BL and both are constants. You can take them outside. dx by dt is velocity. So minus BLV. So induced EMF will be given by BLV. And it is due to motion of this loop. So it is also called motional EMF. EMF induced due to motion, motional EMF. Now, what will be direction of the current? It can be explained in many ways. I am explaining few ways. First, in terms of flux. This coil is moving outward. So area which is in this magnetic field is decreasing. So you can say flux is decreasing. So that induced current will tend to increase the magnetic flux. Magnetic field is inward, so due to that induced current as well, magnetic field should be inward, only then it can increase. So what should be direction of magnetic field? Inward. So what will be direction of the current? That will be direction of the current. So this will be the direction of the current. So it will be direction of the current like this. Second, in terms of force on electrons. It is having electrons. So it is a conductor rod. There are free electrons inside. And this rod is moving in this direction. You can say these electrons are also moving in this direction. So in which direction these electrons will experience force? Right? Apply palm rule. Magnetic field inward. Thumb is giving direction of the motion of the rod. So palm will give direction of force for a positive charge. But electrons are negatively charged. So what will happen? Electrons will experience force in downward direction. So upper end will become positive terminal, lower will become negative terminal. So if it is a positive terminal, so it will be like a cell, positive terminal, negative terminal, and in the cell, current flows from positive to negative terminal. So that will be direction of the current outside the cell. Third, in terms of force, it is moving in this direction. Due to that, flux was decreasing. So what is the cause? This rod is moving in this direction. So force on this current carrying conductor should be in opposite direction. The force will be in this direction. Apply Lenge's rule. It is moving in this direction. There will be induced current, and that current will tend to stop this motion. It means force should be opposite to the motion. So force should be in this direction. Now my fingers are giving magnetic field. Thumb is giving direction of the current. Palm is giving direction of force. So thumb is giving direction of the current. So that will be direction of the current. That will be direction of the current. So these are the different rules. Using these rules, you can determine direction of the current. Out of these, you can use any one. And one more thing, very important thing, that current will be induced if a conductor cuts the magnetic field lines. It must cut. Now in this case, this rod is cutting these magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines are perpendicular, so it is cutting. This rod is not cutting. This side is not cutting. So field will be only due to this, not due to these. Similarly, suppose any road, suppose this is road and it is falling freely vertically. It is falling vertically. So when it will fall vertically, in that case, it will cut horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field. So induced EMF or induced current will be due to horizontal component. Similarly, suppose a plane is flying like this. So it will cut vertical component of Earth's magnetic field. So it will be, induced current will be due to vertical component. That is, in that case, vertical component of Earth's magnetic field will come into play. But if a rod is falling, in that case, horizontal component will be responsible. So that was all about the Faraday's law. Actually, we will discuss it further in next lecture. Question 6.1, 2, 3 and 4 of NCERT are based on these topics. So solve these numericals. Thank you.